Interesting.
Yeah, exactly. The people can always come back and watch it another time, maybe. Well, anyway, we're live now. It's me again. Hi, it's the Great Man again, and I'll be joined by Nihil from Nihilum. Is that how you pronounce it?
Nihilum, actually.
Nihilum. Ah.
Yeah.
Okay, Nihilum. It's always a hard one, that Nihil. Nihil. I've always seen, because there was a Nihil Records, wasn't there, at one point, I think, and I was always like, not too sure. But my first question I always like to ask is, what is behind the name? What is Nihilum? What does it mean? Where did it come from?
It means nothingness in Latin, and I was looking for some kind of name that it's always hard coming up with names, and especially it seems like one word. Yep, you break it down into syllables. Bands that you know of, how many syllables do they have in their names?
Yeah.
So I was just trying to find something that kind of brought forth a little bit of intrigue with it, and then also kind of matched the general theme with the idea behind the lyrics and everything like that. So I remembered Rivers of Nihil, actually, the death metal band. I remember listening to them back a few years ago, and I was like, oh, well, I know, I can't remember the saying, but something ex nihilio.
Yeah.
Well, the root for that is nothing. So then Googled different ways to, that root is used, and stumbled upon Nihilum. So.
Yeah. Is that ex nihilo? Does that mean to come from nothing? Is that mean?
There's some saying, creation from nothing, but it's something ex nihilo or something like that.
Right, yeah, I've heard it. But yeah, it's pretty cool. The trouble is with band names, just every single name has been taken at least 5 times.
Right.
Even with your name, there's 3 other bands I think with the same name.
Yeah, I didn't know. Like I was I was kind of brainstorming, and I Googled it and didn't find anybody, but then come to find out, like 6 months later or so, on Metalum Encyclopedia.
Yeah,
I was like, oh man, well, I wasn't that cool, actually. And then went on Facebook like 2 weeks ago, and there's like 2 more, and I'm like, okay, well, yeah.
And when I was trying to share out the post for this interview, I found another band called Nihilium. On Nihilum, and it was just I nearly tagged them as you, kind of, when I was trying to sort of tag you in it on Facebook. Yeah, it's always hard to get like an original name. But anyway, so you're one person. It's all you, isn't it? Your band.
Minus the drums, yeah. I got a guy that I met called Jerry Jolkanen from Finland,
right?
And he does the drums. So
okay,
guitar, bass, and vocals. Yeah, that's what I do.
So that's all done via the internet, is it? You record some stuff and he kicks some drums out for you?
Yeah, basically, I come up with some kind of rough demo, or if it's a finished song, I'll send off a track to him. He'll send back some MIDI drums. I'll listen to it. Hey, I like everything. Change this around a little bit. Then he records the live drums and then sends them back. So
cool.
Yeah, other than that, though, it's just me and the laptop, pretty much.
Yeah. Is that as a collaboration, or is he like a session musician? He paid for the drumming?
At this point in time, a session, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's how like drummers are the bloody rare as blinking rock and roll shit, isn't they? Yep. Drummers. Every drummer I know has they've got like 5 or 6 bands on the go at the same time.
Yeah, it's just, and especially in black metal too, it just requires a certain type of skill, a skill set rather, and it's just, you can find, for every 10 rock drummers, you can find 1 black metal drummer. And like you said, they usually have 6 different bands that are in it. They're like, only you can blast that fast, man. I need you.
Yeah.
So
I think because the kits are so big that no one can fit them in their houses that much. You've got to have a big house and a lot of money, maybe a lot of space to play in as well before you can learn to play drums. Yeah, that's what guitar. Anyone can pick that up. You guitarists are 10 a penny, mate. Drummers are worth their weight in platinum.
Bassists too, man. Bassists, like no one plays bass. And then, but then there's, a few guys that either started with guitar and then had to play bass for one of their buddies' bands, and they just kind of stuck with it. So.
I do hear that sometimes, actually. Yeah, I've spoken to a few bands. It's like, I normally guitar, but we never had a bass player, so I'm going to go over to bass. That kind of thing does happen.
It's kind of a necessity. Yeah.
Yeah. So your musical style is just like straight up black metal, no like added bells and whistles, no depressive or atmospheric, just black metal.
Just black metal. Yeah. I don't really care for orchestral stuff. It's not that I have a very picky music taste, and I can listen to something and be like, it sounds good. It's just not my thing. And, with Emperor having orchestral stuff, and they're not the only band, obviously, that's done it. No disrespect to Emperor. They're one of the greats. Just personally, me, I don't really care for any added stuff. I just like that, with Nihilum stuff, provided I had other band members, I could play exactly what you heard on the record live.
Right.
Instead of having, having to hire fucking some orchestra from New York. Hey, can you fly out a flutist? It's just guitar, bass, drums, vocals, man. That's it.
Yeah. But describe your sound. How would you like if someone to say Nihilum? Tell us what you sound like. How would you sum yourselves up?
I would say as I'm kind of look through the limited releases, but obviously I have way more stuff than just what's out. I definitely see a shift towards the more melodic side. There's something about having a simple chord progression as rhythm guitar and then having a really well thought out melody over the top that really just creates kind of soundscape. So I guess to go against what I just said about just straight up black metal, maybe a little bit more melodic in there, especially with the most recent stuff, the Sunless Death. Call of the Void was just straight up just black metal, but yeah, I mean, I would say just black metal with a tinge of melody in there, and more so the new stuff.
Production wise, it's not super raw, is it? Like some black metal.
Yeah, I definitely understand and respect why that came about back in the 90s. But and with the philosophy is fuck the system, we're gonna sound different. Then you created a system that was designed to buck the system, if that makes sense. So it's like in an effort to make things sound more raw. Now everyone sounds raw, so the raw becomes the system. So I definitely understand it. I really don't like hyper produced black metal. I like that kind of frayed edge to things, which is a dichotomy, frayed edge. But that rough, it sounds like obviously they practiced it, but hearing little mistakes in there just makes it sound more human.
Yeah, a little bit of extra reverb, like a little bit of like you hear the scrape down the string as you're about to kick in, that kind of thing.
Man.
And some of the reverb at the end, kind of thing, where it cuts off, kind of like kind of raw, abruptly or something like that. Yeah, it's not. I say it's never been my favorite style of metal, but yeah, I can appreciate black metal without being like massively into it. I couldn't name you all the bands and all that, but when I listen to it, it's like that's cool. I can dig it, kind of thing. Yeah. But how did you actually start off with Nihilum then? Is this your first project or?
Yeah. So my musical journey, if you will, has been a long process through a few different genres actually. But so the first stuff, it's never been released. I have another like kind of electronic ambient Floyd-esque type of stuff. And that's the first stuff that I actually started making. And then about 3 to 4 years ago, found black metal. And then really about a couple years ago, because it was just, I knew I wanted to make music, but it seemed like every genre that I tried to make just didn't scratch that itch, But then I was like, oh, fuck it, we're gonna make black metal. And then it felt like, when you crimp a hose and the water stops and you let it go and it was effortless. So it just, I don't know.
So you've kind of found the music that works for you, like music wise and creating music wise.
Yeah, I have no issue writing black metal at all. Like I was starting to write a song the other day, just sitting there watching TV, and I was like, oh, I gotta. But in any other genre, it wouldn't sound right. So it's kind of interesting how it kind of all worked out.
Well, that's cool. Because so it was the first sort of metal you heard was black metal, or
no? So it was Metallica way back.
Right.
I don't know, 10, 11 or something like that. And
is that what got you into learning the guitar?
Yeah, Metallica. That I was just talking to a buddy a couple days ago. Like, Freight into Sanity, Harvester, like that. That was it, man. When I was fucking 12, I'm like, man, I'm so cool. Metallica, So, yeah.
But you never considered becoming a thrash band then, or doing a thrash project?
Maybe. Who knows? I definitely thrash was kind of like the first stuff I got into, and I love it. I mean, it's just, I guess for some reason my mind just works. My paintbrush of music seems to be black metal.
Yeah.
Naturally.
Say that with like somebody yourself, like who can make music, and who knows, in a few years' time, some other style of music may start talking to you and like feeling more like your cup of tea. And this is just how you feel at the moment. It could move on to something else.
It's just music, man. I just love making music. So
yeah,
yeah,
and never say never.
Exactly. Yeah, I'll try anything. You know, it doesn't.
Yeah.
Mostly, it's gonna probably be a no because I'm how picky I am. But if I'm feeling something, then hey,
it may happen.
Yeah.
But so far, you've had like, when did you start? Did you only just start last year?
Yeah, the first EP was June of last year.
And you only started like actually recording and making up songs in 2020.
Yeah, that was I want to say like last February was when that EP started to coalesce together, and then released it in June, and then wanted to release another because I'm always writing, and it's when I write something and I like it, I just want to get it out there, but that's not how you do it. So after the EP release there, I knew I wanted to release something else that year, so that's when the EP/single Sunless Death came out in December. So yeah, Nihilum, I guess, started back in January or 2020. Yeah.
Was it always going to be like a solo plus the session guy, or was it the fact you couldn't go out like because of the plague? You couldn't go. Is that what made the necessity of it being a more or less one person band? Or
so I've had the worst luck finding musicians, man. It's always like, yeah, I play guitar. And then you play with them, and they obviously haven't practiced in like 6 years. So, I just kept finding those people over and over again. So at some point, I was just like, I'll just do it all myself.
Right.
And so yeah, it was basically just I have a very high tempo of writing, and it's like it's just better for me. It's more productive if I just do everything versus, hey man, can you where's the rhythm guitar?
oh
yeah, dude. I just do it myself.
Yeah, it's a certain kind of like ethic, like kind of mental kind of thing about black metal, being like on your own, doing your own thing, kind of thing. There's quite a lot of who will do that. You know, you don't want to be hassled with other people. That screw everybody, screw the rest of the world. I mean, I'm me against the world.
Yeah, there's definitely a portion of that, but I would say more so it just comes down to like I don't want to have to rely on somebody else for the vision or the sound that I'm hearing to come to vision. So, and then me and Jer work perfectly. Hey, I'll hit you up when I got something, and then I got something, send it to him, and then we work together on it, and it just works well. So
you don't think you'll ever like go towards getting a whole band?
Who knows? If more often than, or more realistic, I would probably say session guys for live, and then just me for, or unless I find somebody else, a bassist or guitarist that is that writes what the vision of Nihilum, that their musical knee-jerk reactions to things align with Nihilum's vision that I have. And if it works, it works, but until then,
again, you're open to open to see what happens.
Yeah, if it's not broke, don't fix it right now, and it's working just fine. So,
and is that what you want to do in the future? You want to maybe get session musicians and actually play live? Is playing live something you really?
100%.
Yeah.
100%. But again, you talk about the drummers. It's like no one plays black metal, so it's like I know a guy in Florida, and then I know a guy in Washington. It's like, well, that's not like, hey man, you want to play some Chili Peppers? 15 guys, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, so it can be awkward. So this, you're in, was it North Carolina? Is it Fayetteville?
Yeah, North Carolina.
Is that got a scene for metal? Is it a big place? No,
no. It's about an hour south of Raleigh.
Right.
I think there's like one other like hardcore band here, I think.
Right.
But right when I started, putting stuff out there is actually right when Corona hit. And then I have this app called Bands in Town that tracks all bands that are coming, to find shows.
Yeah.
There weren't, I think, maybe one hardcore band, but for the most part we're in chicken picking fucking Bible Belt, that
Oh,
bullshit. So
right.
but plenty of Kenny Chesney wannabes, but not much metal. So
Yeah. Is there a certain, being in the Bible Belt, whatever, is that an influence on your black metal, on your lyrics and stuff, on your nihilistic outlook? Are you like religious yourself, or?
no, 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 no. No, I was raised extremely religious. So my interactions with religion don't exist. So
No.
but yeah, I mean, yeah, you have the crosses, massive. It's like you're thinking it's like somebody spent, over $100 to get this lumber to make this fucking cross that no one cares about.
Yeah.
So you see that and you see, oh, fucking praying for you on the side of the road. It's like,
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, no pun intended. But
No.
yeah,
Yeah. So it's not like your black metal is not like a knee jerk, like getting away from it, like against it because it's bugging up your life, or you just like music.
no, I just like music. There's no, like, Satanism isn't involved with Nihilum at all.
Yeah.
There's plenty of people that do that already. So
Yeah.
to think that, well, I'm going to be creative and do exactly what everyone else is doing, that's kind of
Yeah.
opposite. So yeah, but it's definitely not like fucking hail Satan, shit.
No. Is there any backlash from your family members for the fact that you play black metal? Do they
No,
like? No.
it's funny because they're like, they know that I'm making stuff, but they've never
Like,
listened
yeah.
to it. And
Right.
I was talking to my parents a couple weeks ago, and they were like, "Yeah, I saw that you put it out on Facebook. I didn't watch it." And they watched it, and they're like, "Oh." That's usually the response I get. Oh,
Yeah. Well, it could be worse. It could be worse. It could be throwing you out and burning your records or whatever. So
exactly,
at least it's
exactly.
not,
Yeah.
at least it's not that bad.
As long
But
as they buy them before they burn them, I don't care. So
yeah.
yeah,
So what's your feelings now? You're atheist, or?
yeah,
Yeah.
atheist.
Does everyone ever hit you if you just want to sin? That's why you don't follow God anymore. Did you
Yeah,
get that?
it's
You
like,
get that?
if you want to have that discussion, we can. We don't want
No.
to pull on that thread because you're just no.
No.
So
You
I,
fed up
I've
with that.
had I've
Let's
had
just
this
talk
talk,
music.
and it's just like they always end up in the same place, and they always have the same arguments, and it just
All right,
so
let's just do a quick question from my mate in chat here before we move
okay.
on. Are you self-taught on the guitar, and do you read music?
So that's an absolute no on reading music. I am like the stereotypical metal guitarist where it's like
Yeah,
I learned by playing Metallica, and then over the years I have gained some musical theory knowledge. But there's not when I sit down to write something, I don't think of theory at all. So I have that knowledge, but it's never been used to do do anything with. So it's like trivia, pretty much. Oh well, the stick. It's like, yeah, cool, but fuck
you don't
off.
need to. You don't need to know it. You know it, but you don't particularly use it. You just. Well, how do you sort of sit down and write a song? Then you just does the sound come in your head before, or you just start playing with some riffs and see what sounds good to you?
It honestly, like, believe it or not, I'll do like warm-up exercises just to get everything loose, and then something will come to me, and it'll be like, I'm just doing ascending up, and like, oh, that sounded kind of cool. What if we do this? So
Yeah.
it comes when I'm like sitting down to write something, or I'll be watching The Office, and then something will come to me, and then
Right.
it's like I've learned that, like, no matter what happens or where I'm at, I have to sit down and, like, even if it's a voice recording on my phone, like doing some super out of key, like, okay, this is the melody, and then and I sing it or something like that. But yeah, it just comes,
No.
there's
Right.
really no control over it, to be honest. So
Yeah.
wish there
And
was.
are there times when you sit down and you try and you can't think of a fucking riff to save your life, or does it always come whenever you call it?
Sometimes it like I said, I'll be sitting down, and usually what happens is very few times do I sit down and the first thing I think of is the riff or melody. It's usually like, okay, this sounds okay, and then I'll kind of work it out, and then let's say I write riff 1 that leads to 2 and 3. Well, 3 sounds great, but the 2 and 1 used to sound good, but now they sound like shit. So now I take 3 and then roll with that.
Yeah. So your songs go through a lot of chopping and changing before you come with how you want it to finish, how you want it to be. Right?
Yeah, I have projects in Logic, and it's like I'll keep my original ideas, the ones that I don't want anymore. But then as they evolve, then I go back and listen to the first idea, and I'm like, oh, gee, thank God we got rid of that because that was horrible.
So you talk about Logic. Is that the program where you record everything and then you come back and listen to it, or is it?
Yep.
So you record everything as you're doing it, and then I'll use a bit of that, use a bit of that. Right.
Yep. So it's a pretty simple workflow and I've been using Logic for I don't know 5, 6, 7 years now. So I'm well acquainted with it enough to accomplish what I need to happen.
Yeah,
so
it's like so much technology available to people now that you can do things in other countries. You haven't even got to be in the same room, and you can make music together. Like so, even with the Corona, like back if this Corona happened like 10 years ago, maybe probably wouldn't be any music being made because we wouldn't be able to. Like, you probably could still do a little bit then, but not like you can now. Not on the same scale.
Yeah. Now I can zoom in on a vocal track, and I can see the individual sound waves, and I can go, okay, well, I don't like from here back, so let's go to this sound, this peak of this specific wave cut. So it's incredibly precise.
Let's talk about your releases then, because so far you've had 2 EPs. You said the first one was Call of the Void. You said it was March or June?
June. Yeah.
So 5 tracks. Right, so you say you're not really into the satanic stuff, and obviously I'm guessing, I think I read from your Bandcamp as well, it's more about the nihilism, about obviously, is that like a depressing thing, or you don't think there's anything to life? Or would you want to go through that a little bit with us?
Yeah. I think the nihilism, the whole nothing matters thing, that philosophy, I think, can be it's the same side, the two sides of the same coin. There we go. Nothing matters, I think, is a fact on a cosmic perspective, and that you can take that and go down the depressive route, or you can say nothing matters, so fuck it, basically. And that's the route that the train of thought that I choose to attach myself to. But yeah, it's a I should probably alter that a little bit to get it a little bit more accurate. But it's as far as the lyrical themes and stuff like that, I'm a big sci-fi guy, sci-fi and horror. So massive Star Wars nerd ever since I was a young kid. So the sci-fi aspect, time travel, entities, death cults, that's kind of what Nihilum
is. That your lyrical themes?
Yeah.
And any Lovecraftian horror going on in there at all?
It was interesting. I'm sure you've had this experience either watching a movie or listening to music where someone is like really like, listen to Pink Floyd, like the first time you heard Gilmore get up on guitar and then solo, you're like, God damn, like this is what a professional sounds like. I didn't have that experience with reading until Lovecraft. And then I read I can't remember what I was reading, but I was just the word choice he had, and I was like, God damn, dude, this guy is good. Like this is what good writing looks like.
Yeah, so, it's kind of like archaic, some of the language now, and some of his forms are like I don't go too much into reading because some people say, oh, his style is terrible. Other people say his style is also. I think but he definitely has his own style. He definitely influenced a lot of people afterwards, and I always enjoy anything. So once a year I do a Lovecraft themed show on my podcast as well. Cool. So let's go through the actual track listing then. If you want to, maybe we'll go through the tracks and give us a little bit of information. So the Overseer, what's that one?
So the Overseer is kind of setting up the next song, and actually the album or the EP rather. Each song takes place at a different time in history. So the same theme, I guess, is this death cult, and it starts back. So think of like the drums in it are supposed to be indicative of like ancient, pagan era,
tribal or something like that.
Tribal stuff. So it's a not a funeral, what do they call it? What's the word for that? a ceremony procession or something like that,
Right.
preparing for the blood magic ritual, which is the second song,
Right.
in an attempt to contact this being, this interdimensional death entity, that basically what they're trying to connect with. So that's the overseer, and it leads right into blood magic, which is the actual ritual itself.
So is it actually a theme concept EP, that first one then?
Yeah, I guess Nihilum's a concept band in itself. There's, I'm creating similar to Lovecraft, a mythos behind everything. So, the same themes that are in Call of the Void perpetuate themselves through Sunless Death, and then into following releases. So the same universe that Call of the Void exists in is the exact same universe that Sunless Death, and like I said,
right. So you're making your own kind of world with its own like lore kind of thing, but through lyrics and are there any like characters in there, like any hero to the narrative, or?
Oh, no, it's Nihilum, bro. They know hero. There's I released a video for The Revenant, which is one of the tracks off the new EP. And in it you see two characters, and currently what's released right now is there's no story behind those two, but there is material that I do have that kind of explains what they are, who they are. So yeah, I guess the one character that overarches everything is the Father of Nothing. So he's that God that they're trying to communicate with, that is outside of our dimension, feeds on death, entropy, and stuff like that. So he's kind of the Christ figure, if you will, of Nihilum.
Okay. So that's pretty deep, pretty dark. And have you ever had any like pretensions or aims to sort of like create some stories to go, like a short story, maybe a bit of prose like writing to go with the actual lyrics?
Yeah, actually, I wrote a short story that ended up being the lyrical basis for a song that'll be coming out on a future release. Yeah, I like storytelling. So, and I think it's cooler, and it's more difficult to come up with a story as opposed to I'm gonna make a 3.5-minute song about one, certain event in my life, which not downplaying any of that. It's just it doesn't interest me.
Yeah, well, everyone's got whatever their own things they're interested in. Like your concept might be someone else might go, that's so silly. You know what I mean? It's just like whatever floats your boat. Whatever makes you interested. You can't imagine that kind of like we had my band stuff. We had a song called God of Nothing, and it was like it's just like pray to the God of Nothing, for he shall deliver. He shall provide you with naught, so become a believer. That kind of thing. It was that kind of nothing concept there. Like there's nothing there, kind of thing. But yeah. So. What about the second Sunless Void? Is that like the end times when the sun finally explodes? Sunless Death, I mean, sorry.
Yeah.
Is that...
Yeah. It covers a story, basically. One of the last few lines is orchestrated by watchers afar, cosmic pantheon of hidden face, talking about this this cult that it doesn't just exist on Earth. Nihilum deals with multi universes, so I don't really want to get in too much with it because I'm taking away from future stuff, but it talks about basically some terraforming in the worst type of way, blowing up the sun pretty much, what would what would happen after that, and that was, I had no intention of making that a song until I was just sitting down and I was like, what would happen if the sun blew up? And then went on YouTube, Google, and I was like, well, that, let's try to avoid that.
Now we've got anything we can do about it. There's not much we can do about it.
Yeah. So
it's going to happen eventually, like a few million years' time, it's going to fizzle out or whatever. Yep. What's the thing, like you say, you like space. I've done a few space-themed shows with my podcast and that. And once you start thinking about space, about the massive trackless depths of it, it just like makes you feel so insignificant. And it's just like, just the whole time of it, how long, like, oh, that light over there, that light started 3 million years ago, like, so many light years away. It's just,
I love space. I'm what I would call a recreational physicist. So I don't understand most of it, but enough of it, I understand enough to drive me to learn more. Which Nihilum, takes from the cosmology and astrophysics and stuff like that. It's way more interesting than the stuff that's happening on the planet, to be honest. So.
Yeah. Quite possibly, yeah. That's the thing. It's sort of mystery, though. He's kind of like, oh, you wish you could find out. We never ever see those kind of stars, or if we pulled our fingers out, we able to travel to other places. But I don't think we're ever going to sort out this planet well enough for us to be able to travel beyond it.
That if I want lightsabers, man. All going on here is not helping us get to fucking lightsabers. So let's figure this out so we can start, going outside of our galaxy.
Yeah. Let's hit a couple of questions from the chat again. My mate Werewolf, have you ever thought about constructing a song on piano and then converting it to guitar, especially if you like melody?
Yeah, that happens actually a lot more than as I'm talking now. I realize it. I'm not super well versed on the piano, but it's one of the easiest instruments from a musicality perspective when it comes to writing. Because guitar, you got 6 strings, but piano, it's left to right. It's the easiest thing. So, and especially if I'm messing around, I'll boot up Logic and just kind of mess around with stuff. And piano is the first thing I go to if I'm going just off of Logic. If I don't pick up my guitar and try to write something, that's the first thing that comes up. So yeah, it happens less often than obviously on guitar, but there's definitely been breakthrough moments where I was like, I'm just trying to. Just nothing sounds good, then I'll just go on the piano. Just sounds beautiful, so you can play the wrong notes and it just sounds good anyway. So yeah.
Another question is: would you like to visit another planet if it became a possibility?
100%, man, any of them. Other than fucking Mercury, because that's probably kind of warm.
Yeah, you might have to take like a cold sponge or something.
Tank top and flip flops kind of thing.
Pretty much every single planet in our galaxy will kill us if we ever went there. Yeah, there's a few like exoplanets like in the other atmospheres that might be possible. What do they call them? Goldilocks planets. So it's not too hot, not too cold, something like that.
Yeah, I'd go to any planet, man. If Elon Musk was like, "Hey, man, I need 100 people," I'm like, "Let me get my car, let me get my laptop, and I'm going. Man. Let's go."
Yeah, I'll be too uncomfortable. I think, I'm too scared of dying before my time. So it's just like, I'll just stay here. I'm too old for all that exploring life.
I'll do it, man. I don't give a fuck.
How has reaction been to your releases so far? I mean, you say you're pretty fresh. It's quite hard to get stuff out there, probably because of the plague. But I mean, obviously, with being able to do everything technologically online without having to leave the house, you can kind of promote without leaving the house now, can't you? You can send it off to everywhere. You haven't got to go and press demo tapes into record executives' hands or anything like that. So, have you had any joy with trying to get the music out there?
Yeah, for the most part, it's been a steady, a slow, steady. My measurement of success to me is just plays on Bandcamp, and I have Spotify and everything else, but I just actually hit 500 plays on the Call of the Void, which I'm not fucking Iggy Azalea or whoever the fuck, so they got millions. So 500 to me, I mean that's a big thing for me. So
500 more than listened to you this time last year.
I had 0 this time last year. So but it's been pretty good. Like I said, I am very fresh, not even a year been active. So, but it's been a steady, slow, steady climb, which I would prefer as opposed to just a massive spike and then a drop off. So yeah, but it's going good. Mostly Instagram, Facebook are my promotional weapons, if you will.
Yeah. And you've been playing a few. I've played you on my podcast. Have you not been playing some other radio as well? Haven't you? I'm sure I saw on your page you a few other places taking your music and played it.
Yeah,
Do you get any other interviews or anything like that online?
Yeah, I went on something similar to this, but it was on the phone on Christmas actually, and that was the first interview that I ever did. So yeah, it's it's actually ramping up slow, like I said, slowly but surely. So it's February, but December wasn't that far off or far ago. So I see it as that one happening and then this one taking place, which I'm very grateful for. A couple months after, I'll take it. So
yeah, slowly but surely, it's like a little snowball rolling down the hill. Hopefully,
yeah, my hill's kind of barely not flat, but it's still down,
Takes a bit of a breeze to blow it along every now and again, but hopefully, eventually, you'll hit the more sharp incline and start picking up
things going. Yeah.
And what about new stuff? I mean, it was not that long since the last one, but there was only two tracks. How close are you to another release?
So I was actually thinking about this prior to coming on here, and I don't really want to say an incredible amount because I have plans to make announcements for that, but I haven't slowed down. So a bunch of material that I have on hand. I already have an idea of what I want to do next. It's definitely going to be bigger than any release that I've done yet. So again, akin to that slow, steady progress. I think my songwriting and just the general product is getting better and better with each one. So yeah, definitely it's going to be a little bit more of a break between releases for this next one. But yep, still hard at work. I haven't.
And this, like, so you sort of like, you don't want to say anything too much now because you want to put it out slowly. Is that sort of the self promotion something you put a lot of thought into? Have you got a planned out a kind of schedule and how you're going to put things out there, or is it just whatever you do when you do it?
Yeah, generally, I'm a very organized person, so I have most stuff figured out. At least if like at this point, at least 6 months in advance. And you have to, I did get a PR company that's a long-term solution to that problem earlier this year, I believe. Maybe it was December.
Right.
So they definitely help out. But like I said, I don't, and same thing with other musicians, I don't like relying on people. So I do what I can, which to my minuscule following, but I see it as I want the same way that I look at bands that I really enjoy. Excited. Oh man, I'm a huge Mastodon fan. So seeing they're in studio, fuck yeah, dude. That makes my day better. And if I can do it for somebody else, then hell yeah. So yeah.
And am I right in thinking that both of your releases name your price on your Bandcamp?
Sorry, say one more time.
Both your releases are name your price on your Bandcamp, are they? They're not. I can't remember now.
I think I haven't checked in a while. I think the EP is like $4 or $5, and then the EP, the 2-track is like $2. So basically $1 a track.
I must have been confused with someone else I looked at. Sorry, I remember seeing both. Like someone was looking at recently, and they had two releases. They were both name your price, but no, they're not. They are on your Bandcamp, and the links down below to the blog. People can go on there, and it's got links to all your pages, and you can go and buy those off Bandcamp if you like. Have you got any plans to make physical copies of them, or is it just digital at the moment?
As of right now, it's just digital. It's not that I don't want to. It just simply comes down to the math behind it. I can't afford to just keep throwing money at something that doesn't bring it back. At least, and I'm not even. No one does this shit to get rich, but even just to get a fucking Snickers bar, something like that.
Extra money from a gig, but yeah.
Yeah, exactly. In the future,
you only need it for the groupies. I can tell.
Oh, 100%. As long as I play guitar, dude. That's it.
Yeah. So you don't know when the next thing is going to be another EP, or are you working on a new album, or is it all kind of completely hush hush at the moment?
Right now, I just like to keep it hush hush, just because to plan out the whole promotion. But it's like I said, it'll be bigger than anything I've done so far.
Right.
Just ask for a little bit of patience. I'm trying. I really don't like when you just see filler content on Instagram where it's like, oh, you didn't fucking try at all for this. I'm trying to continually create content that doesn't look like I just copy and paste, or we'll do the same post a month from now. Then
Yeah.
So yeah, the struggle right now is to keep releasing stuff that keep people interested or get new people interested in the band. But so I'm hoping those 2 releases tide people over for the next release.
Yeah, right. They can still listen to it on there anyway, can't they? Before they decide to buy or not.
Yeah. I think Bandcamp does. You can listen to like
I think so many tracks. So yeah. You can get an idea of it with, and if you like it, then you can choose to buy if you want to. Also, you got the YouTube page as well. You said you did a video as well.
Yeah, I have for Sunless Death, I have 2 lyric videos put out. They're both on there. And then I have a music video out right now with another one that I plan on releasing sometime in the next month and a half. But yeah, so on the Facebook and Instagram stuff, I don't know if I can actually put the full music video on Instagram or Facebook because I was trying to drive more people towards the YouTube channel. But I got lyric videos out for those 2 tracks, and then a music video of one with the music video for the second track soon to come. So yeah.
Is that something you put together yourself, the lyric videos?
Yep, me and my so the lyric videos actually found a guy on Fiverr to do it. But after watching his stuff and making some videos myself, I was like, I'll just do this myself from now on. So I have a camera.
Yeah. So you've learned a new skill.
Yep. And it's fun. I really like. I just like making things. It's whether that's painting or drawing or whatever. So, and the more skills I pick up with video editing and videography, then I can make the imagery that I want, that I see in my head for the band. So, yeah.
Did you do any of the art for the covers on the?
No, I'm not that good of an artist.
Right.
The Call of the Void cover is actually done by a friend of mine, graphic designer. And then the second cover was a guy I found. I'm going to butcher his name, but I believe it's pronounced Matej Osink from Turkey, I believe. I found him on Instagram, and I just loved his style. And then I kind of gave him a general, hey, this is what I'm kind of going for. He sent it back to me, and yeah.
Cool. But maybe in the future you might have everything like your own art, your own music videos.
Oh yeah, that's the me and a buddy filmed both of the music videos actually. I think I had one extra for the Revenant's music video. But yeah, like I said, I really like to be self-sufficient. So yeah, I had a buddy of mine who's a photographer who's wanting to get into filmmaking, and had him help me out with the videography aspect. Came out well, I think. It's literally zero budget, so I mean, it's
if you got the vision and like the idea, you can quite often come up with something really cool for little, can't you? Really, whereas other people can like throw loads of money at stuff and it turns out crap. Money. There's not always the be all and end all if you can get the atmosphere right and the the vision of what it's going to look like. I mean, are you thinking like when the new release comes out, more videos, more kind of interactive, kind of more? Maybe a budget like $10 or something.
Yeah, there's definitely imagery is very important for me. So there's a lot going into non-music related Nihilum stuff. So I just had some work done by a graphic designer that's going to be used in a lot of Nihilum stuff moving forward. So, and I have a few images that I found this guy that basically animates still images. So there's a lot of effort on my part to find stuff that visually accompanies and fits with the music. So there's a lot of thought put into, because that visual and audio connection, it just, you can take a song that's really good, and if you do a video that's awesome too, it just adds that, depth.
So
So
it's basically a holistic thing. You want the images, you want the concept, you want the themes, and the music to all sort of like, Nihilum to be like a cohesive kind of unit of all the different aspects.
Open the door and walk in, and there's a universe waiting for you.
So next step, right, dear to me and a lot of my viewers, comic books, Nihilum comic books. When can we expect to see those?
Yep, I got one on the way right now. Just give me your address, man. I'll send one. I'm not against anything. So if I find something or an artist that matches up and a fucking comic book, man, then guess what? I'm gonna make a fucking comic book.
Oh, cool. Are you into comics yourself, or?
Yes. So I'm more so into reading than comic books. Not that I fucking hate comic books. It's just
fine.
You
can feel free to hate them. It doesn't matter. But yeah.
But obviously a big Star Wars fan, so they're mostly what I read. Spider-Man. But those are kind of my two comic book, I guess, universes, or So
if you've got that concept though, the Nihilum concept, you say you could find someone who could do art, you could quite possibly make some really cool kind of like, to sort of support the music, support the band kind of thing. Like, I think that'd be quite cool. And you could even bring in people who like might buy the comic book and then like not realize it's a band, and then find out it's a band. Oh, go check the music out. You never know.
I am not, opposed to like any kind of art form that I can bring together with it. I'm down. So
and obviously the big money spinner, after you've done the comic books, the albums and so forth, your own religion. You're gonna have to bring the Nihilum cult. The money just rolls in. Like
an island figured out for us. On top of the Pacific.
Important question when it comes to like your own religion. How many wives are you allowed to have?
I'll have to study the text, and I will get. But whatever I say, that's what fucking goes.
That makes sense. That's how it works normally.
It's only me who can talk to the god. So I have no ulterior motives with this at all.
You're just a messenger, just a mouthpiece. Exactly. It just so happens that the god wants you to have 14 wives.
That's what he said. Okay. Your money, but
Oh man! All right. So, what else? What else can we talk about? You kind of lips are kind of sealed on some of the future stuff. Anything else you want to discuss about the two releases so far? Anything I haven't asked you that you might want to get across to people?
Let me see. Not really. I mean, it's just unfortunate that there's just not a lot as of yet. But I have a lot of plans. The merch is basically non-existent. The only shirt that I have on there is the old logo, which, who gives a fuck to have collectible Nihilum gear? But if you do, fucking old shit that means nothing, on there. But I will be releasing a couple t-shirts later this year, new merch design, because all I've had is just the white logo. So I have some ideas for.
Why did the logo change? Was there a reason behind that?
So Christoph Spagel actually hit me up. I did Emperor, Trivium, all that kind of stuff, and So it's funny because I didn't actually know him. He contacted me through the PR company I was going through at the time, and I'm like, I get hit up for new logos, artwork all the time on Instagram. So I'm like, I'll look, and I was like, oh, interesting. Yeah, give it a shot. And came up with the new logo now that it's just fucking cool, man. It's
an interesting niche that he's kind of like cornered the market of almost. He's like, I don't know if there's much money for him, but his name is known.
Yeah,
his name is known.
He's the guy. So
I think he's brought out a book as well. Hasn't he? Not brought out a book like of all the logos that he's done. Oh, 2 books now.
He's got 2. Lord of Logos was the first one, and he just put out one. It's either called Archaic Modernism. Yeah, I think it's that one. And it's just a collection of artwork ranging from, I don't know if it's entirely out of logos. I do think there's other artists, as in painters and stuff like that, featured in the book. Yeah, I think it's sold out though. That's the thing. Me and him were working together right as that was coming out, and then one time I go on looking to get one, and they're sold out, and I'm like, well, fuck, you know. I know it's out, but I can't buy it, you know.
Maybe you'll be in the next book, though. Yeah, your logo might be in the next book.
Yeah, who knows? Yeah.
This Yusuf, he's a mate of yours. He's waiting for you to get big so he can sell your old T-shirt. I think that's what he said. You need to pick up a couple of more of the old T-shirts now while they're still available before the new one comes in.
Watch it.
So corner the market, get them in all different sizes, and you'll be quids will be rolling in once you become super famous.
Yeah. Just watch. I get it now before they start upselling them for like $200 a piece.
Yeah.
I want this now.
Yeah. There's bootlegs out there anyway if you make it big. So all right. I can't think of anything else to ask you at the moment. No, not really. It's just I can ask you about your influences, but we would know you as Metallica, those sort of guitarists, and can't really go too much in the future because you kind of like whatever comes along will happen. If I want to try something different, I'll try something different. It's a matter of your own mood at the time, kind of thing. Would you ever consider like maybe compartmentalizing, like maybe creating a new project? You might say to yourself, "Oh, I really fancy doing something thrashy." Would you sort of maybe join another band or?
Yeah, I'm actually in another band as a vocalist, Dark Desolation. We don't have anything out as of right now, but it's in the works. Yeah, I mean it's nylon's my main focus. It's just me, so I can work on it however much for however little I want. But yeah, I have another project called Red Face. Actually, if you go on Bandcamp and look, I have one album out. But if you listen to that stuff, which is entirely different than Nihilum, that stuff is actually what I started when I started making music. What I started with, so a lot of ambient, acoustic guitar, instrumental stuff, and it's from that I actually learned songwriting and the structure and build up and layering melodies and stuff like that. So if you listen to it, that's where Nihilum came from, which it's kind of counterintuitive. But I love making that kind of stuff. I put out one album of that last year. And that's kind of my palate cleanser of black metal. If I'm just like, if I can't think of something, or if the stuff I'm writing just isn't making sense, or just sounds like shit, just straight up, I'll go back to the Red Face. I'll get my synthesizer out on my computer and then write some acoustic stuff. And
so when you concentrate your mind on something else for a while, when you come back to the thing that you were blocking on, it's suddenly going to be like, oh, creative juices flowing again.
It's crazy. It for some reason that's how it works. Going from the most evil sounding shit or whatever to harpsichords, synthesizers, and little pedals and xylophones. I
like a bit of harpsichord. It's got a good sound.
Yeah, but that's the other project I have that I really enjoy. Just like I said, making music, black metal. I love blues also. I'm not in any blues bands, but
do you listen to it?
Oh yeah, that's metal and blues guitarists were probably the biggest influence on me. Steve Ray Vaughan. I actually just saw Joe Bonamassa. Last year, January of 2020. Yeah.
But they're still gigs.
Oh my God. He was fantastic, man. That was probably the highest class concert I've ever been to. He had the drummer who played with Steve Ray Vaughan as his drummer, keyboardist. He had a whole backup choir and brass section. It was like the highest class shit. And then he's out here soloing with fucking sunglasses and a suit on. Like, God damn it, this guy is cool.
The only thing I listen to, like live concerts, was not heavy metal of any type. Is George Thorogood.
Oh,
do you know George Thorogood? Yeah, my dad loves George Thorogood, and I've been to see George Thorogood about 3 or 4 times with my old man. So he's always kicks ass.
Yeah, I really listen to everything. I know people say that, and then they're like, "Wow, actually, I listen to everything, man. I love the blues. That's that's one of my favorite things to just jam with on guitar, just solo for fucking 4 hours straight, you know.
Cool.
Yeah.
I can't remember if I played one on the show that I played you on last, but do you hear that band Watchman? There's another like one man band. He started off doing rap, then he does reggae, and now he's doing like a Black Sabbath-y kind of doom, solo doom kind of a. It's like, I was chatting to another guy before, Greg, I think you can't remember his surname there, but he's in a band called Age of Fire, and he does chamber music as well as like blues, as well as like solo guitar stuff, and like a thrashing heavy metal band. So yeah,
it's music is it's my preferred art form, and that it doesn't matter what genre it is. It's a awesome sounding melody, whether it comes from a singer or a flutist or a fucking windmilling black metal. It's just music. I just love it.
Yeah. All right, we come up to an hour now, and I think we should sign off. If you want to finish off with anything you want to say, your links are down below. Check out the music of Nihilum, and follow the pages so you can check out the lyric videos on YouTube. What was the other pages you've got again? Instagram.
Yep.
Yeah, all the links are all in the blog as well. And I dare say I'll play you again soon on my podcast. And once you get some new stuff out, either from your other band you were just telling us about, I can't remember if you record them, you sing for them. And if you get anything out from them, any new stuff from Nihilum, feel free to send it my way. Did you do me an intro yet for my podcast? Can't remember if I've asked you.
I don't think so.
Just a spoken intro so I can use it on a future show kind of thing.
No, I don't think you did.
I'll get you to hit one of them maybe when you get a chance, and I can just use it at the beginning of a future show kind of thing. And that guarantees at least another play.
Man. Hey, any and every one, I'll take it, man. I'm not
cool.
a chooser, yeah.
Yeah. All right, then. Thanks for coming on, mate. I'll talk to you hopefully again. Once you've got something out in the future, a new release or something else you want to plug, feel free to drop me a line and we can have another chat.
Awesome. 100%, man.
All right, cheers. Bye, everyone.